everyone, welcome back to another episode. Thanks a lot for loving the story. Please enjoy. Thing was in the nursery, naturally, where else putting Taehyung down for the evening. The room was in its nighttime state, warm and low light, and the stars mobile turning slowly above the crib. Taehyung had been fed and changed and was in the last 5 minutes of the battle between being awake and being asleep, which was a battle that he fought every single night and great passion and always lost. Jungkook appeared in the doorway. This was not usual anymore. He had started doing it, appearing at the door, not always coming in. Just standing there for a few minutes before whatever the next thing in his evening was. Taehyung had gotten used to it. He didn't startle anymore when he looked up and found Jungkook there. He looked up now, Taehyung quietly so as not to disturb the almost asleep baby. He is almost down. Jungkook, equally quiet. I want him to sleep in my room tonight. Taehyung blinked. Taehyung, oh, okay, I can bring the crib, Jungkook, and I want you to sleep there too. A pause. Taehyung, sorry. Jungkook, leaning against the door frame, arm crossed, the picture of someone being very casual about something that was absolutely not casual. He still wakes up at night. You handle that. If he is in my room and he wakes up and you are not there, he will, Taehyung, cry. Yes, I know how Teju works. I am the one who. He stopped it, took a breath. I can come to your room. When he cries, you can call me. Jungkook, that takes time. Taehyung, it takes 40 seconds. Jungkook, he cried for 40 seconds. Taehyung opened his mouth, closing it. Jungkook, it's a large bed. Taehyung, I know, it's a large bed. That's not the Jungkook. Taehyung will be between us. Taehyung is staring at him between us, Jungkook in the middle. You on one side, me on other. He is used to sleeping on someone's chest anyway. You said that yourself. He said it all in that flat, logical. This is simply a reasonable arrangement wise that Taehyung was learning to be deeply suspicious of. Like, if he said it simply enough, the simple parts would be the only parts. Taehyung looked at Taehyung. Taehyung, choose this moment to open his eyes, look at Taehyung and make the small reaching sound that meant up. Please, still not asleep. We are not done. Taehyung automatically picking him up, silently defended. You have your own room, a nursery that will build specifically for Jungkook, and here just barely something shifted, some fraction of the controlled expression, something that was not quite vulnerability but was the door nearest to it. I want to be there when he wakes up. He said it simply, no strategy in it. No armor, just I want to be there. Taehyung held Taehyung and looked at Jungkook and felt the argument he had been assembling dissolve somewhere in his chest. Because he thought about what he had said to Taehyung in the dark all those evenings. He looked at you like you are something he can't believe is real. He loves you, he just doesn't know how to say it yet. And here was Jungkook in the only way he currently knew how, saying it. I want to be there when he wakes up. I don't want to miss it. Taehyung pressed his lips together. Taehyung quietly. One night, Jungkook nodded just once. Taehyung to Taehyung, resigned and soft. You own me. Taehyung grabbed his nose. Jungkook's room was well. Taehyung had known the house was large. He had understood intellectually that people who own buildings in the city live differently than people who rented single rooms above dry cleaners. But the room was the size of a small house, dark, clean, everything in deep colors, charcoal and black, and a deep navy that absorbed the light rather than reflecting it. A desk with three monitors that hummed quietly, a window that took up most of one wall, the city spread out below it like it was something Jungkook had personally arranged. And in the bed was a bed that knew it was important, wide and low and dark seated, and the kind of mattress that Taehyung could tell from across the room cost more than 6 months of his salary. Taehyung is standing in the doorway with Taejun on his hip, very calmly. Okay, Jungkook, already moving the pillows, making space. He can go in middle. There is enough room that he wouldn't. Taehyung, I know how to put a baby to bed. Jungkook, right? Taehyung, I have been doing it every night for Jungkook, right? Yes, a brief awkward beat. Two people who were in their respective ways trying very hard to be normal about something that was not that normal. Tim went to his side of the bed, the left side, the side farthest from the window, which he had decided was his side without discussing it, and laid Teju down in the middle, settling him carefully. Tejan looked at the ceiling with alert, interested expression of a baby in a new location taking inventory. Taehyung quietly lying down on top of the covers, fully dressed, very deliberately on the top of the covers. Everything is different up here. The ceiling is different. Jungkook on his side lying down more naturally because it was his bed. He will be fine, Taehyung. I know. I am narrating. Taejun looked at the ceiling, then at Taehyung, then slowly turning his head at Jungkook. He studied Jungkook the way he studies new things, serious, concentrated, taking stock. Jungkook looked back at him. Jungkook very quietly, just to the baby. Hi. Considered him for a long moment, then made a small natural sound. The look and looked back at ceiling. Taehyung hiding a smile in pillow. Progress? Jungkook, something that was almost dry. Don't. Taehyung, I'm being supportive. Jungkook, sleep. Taehyung, I'm not tired. Jungkook, sleep anyway. Taehyung pulled the extra blanket over himself and looked at the dark ceiling and listened to Tejas' small sounds beside him and felt his heart doing something completely unreasonable that he was going to blame entirely on the unfamiliar room and the unfamiliar ceiling and absolutely nothing else. Jungkook lay on the other side of Taejon in the dark. He was looking at the ceiling too, feeling very specifically like the room was warmer than it usually was, like his own bedroom had become slightly unfamiliar, like something in the air had a quality it didn't usually have. He told himself it was the extra body heat. He told himself a lot of things. Taejon made a small, sleepy sound. Taehyung barely ever murmured, "He's going down." Jungkook equally quiet. The city hummed far below the window. The star mobile from the nursery had been brought in the huge from the standing lamp in the corner. Taehyung had done that quietly without being asked. Because Taehyung was used to it, it turned slowly in the air from the heating vent. It turned slowly in the air from the heating vent. Jungkook watched the stars turn. He felt something, the warmth, the strange current. Again, the unnamed thing closer and more present here in the dark, where There were no reports and no decisions and no performance of anything, just he closed his eyes. Just this, he thought. Just tonight, 4:37 a.m. Taehyung woke once in the night, not crying, just a small restless sound of something shifting between sleep circles, and the sound of Taehyung had learned to distinguish from real waking in way new parents learn everything by necessity and repetition. Taehyung was awake before the sun fully formed, the way he always was now. He reached over automatically in the dark and laid his hand over Teju's stomach. Warm, present, and specific weight of a hand that said, "Still here, still here, still here." And Tejun stood settled back down within 30 seconds. Then lay in the dark with his hand on the baby and his heart beating a little fast and looking at the ceiling from the other side of Teju very quietly. Jungkook, is he okay? Taehyung soft. Yeah, he's fine, just shifting. A pause. Jungkook, you were awake before he made a sound. Taehyung, I always am. Another pause. Longer. Jungkook, does that get exhausting? The question surprised him, not what he expected. He turned his head slightly in the dark, not enough to see Jungkook over the baby, just the motion of turning Taehyung. Honestly, sometimes, but then he does something and I forget to be tired. Silence. Jungkook, after a moment, almost too quiet to hear. Thank you, Taehyung. For what? Jungkook, for being awake. It could have meant the literal thing, the 4 a.m. thing, the waking before the baby thing. Taehyung thought it might have meant something a little larger. Taehyung softly sleep. Jungkook, a bit. Jungkook, The room went quiet again. Both of them lie in the dark on their either side of a sleeping baby and didn't say anything else, and eventually slept. Morning. Taehyung woke up slowly, the gradual, comfortable kind of waking that happened when you have slept well, properly, the kind of sleep that had no interruptions and no noise, and apparently he registered the dimly still, mostly under and an extremely comfortable mattress. He was warm, specifically, thrillingly, entirely warm, the kind of warmth that meant something beside blankets. He registered in order the following things: something small and solid and Taejun's shaped was lying on his chest, something warm and firm and definitely not. Taejun was very close to his face. There was a hand on his waist. He opened his eyes. The world resolved itself. Taejun had, at some point in the night, migrated as Taejun always migrated, inevitably towards the warmest available surface, and was now lying flat on Taehyung's chest, asleep, completely unbothered, a tiny armor on his throne. Jungkook had, at some point in night, moved. Jungkook's face was right there, close. So close, the kind of close that had no accident in it, that they could locate because they were adults, and this was a large bed and there had been space, and yet somehow here they were, and Jungkook's face was. Taehyung's heart stopped. His lips were touching Jungkook's lips, barely, the lightest pressure, the kind of contact that could technically be an accident and that could technically be explained by the physical of two faces in proximity on a shared surface that could technically be. Oh no. Taehyung's entire body went the temperature of a sun. He pulled back too fast. He almost disturbed Taehyung, pulling his face back half an inch, 2 inches, and now he could see the whole picture, and it was Jungkook. Jungkook was still asleep, dark lashes against his cheek, face completely relaxed in a way that only sleep allowed. One arm extended across the bed, and his hand, warm, heavy, sitting at Taehyung's waist. Taehyung stared at the ceiling. His heart was doing something completely insane. Okay, he thought, okay, this is fine. He was asleep. You were asleep. This is a large bed. These things happen. This is completely. He needed to get out of the bed. He needed to get out of the bed immediately, carefully, without waking the baby or he started to move slowly. The delicate operation of extending himself, shifting Taehyung carefully, trying to get his legs to the edge, trying to. Jungkook's hand moved. He's still asleep, eyes still closed, just a sleepy, automatic tightening the way hand did in sleep, pulling towards warmth. Jungkook lowered up with sleep, eyes still closed, sleep more. He pulled them went black towards the middle of the bed, towards the warmth, towards snow. Their lips touched again softer than the first time. Just a breathe, just the lightest impossible pressure. Then stopped breathing entirely, and Jungkook opened his eyes for a moment. One long suspended, completely suspended moment. They looked at each other, close to close, lips barely spreaded. Taehyung solid and obvious between them. Jungkook's hand is still at Taehyung's waist, Taehyung's eyes wide, and Jungkook's eyes awake, fully, immediately, completely awake. Jungkook, Taehyung, nobody moved. The room was very quiet. Taehyung snored, and the tiny snore of someone who had decided none of this was his problem. Then everything happened at once. Taehyung sat up, fast, careful, scooping Taehyung against his chest in one practiced motion of the bed, feet on the floor. Taehyung, not looking back, was doing something completely uncontrolled. He needs his morning feed. I'm going to. Yeah. He was out of the door. He was, in fact, down the corridor at a pace that was technically not running, but everything running wanted to be. Taehyung on his chest, face burning, heart a complete disaster. Taehyung barely above a whisper, mortified. You, this is your fault somehow. Taehyung opened his eyes, looked at him, and yawned. Taehyung, unbelievably, in the bedroom. Jungkook sat up. He sat on the edge of the bed in the morning light and looked at the door that had just emptied itself of Kim Taehyung at high speed. He looked at the space on the bed in the pillow. He raised one hand and pressed two fingers slowly, quietly, with the focused attention of a man trying to understand something that had ambushed him entirely. To his own lips, he sat there. The city hummed outside the window. The stars mobile turned in the corner. Jungkook, who had spent 31 years building walls and who had never in his professional life been caught off guard by anything, sat on the edge of his bed with two fingers pressed to his mouth and felt warmth, still warm. He didn't move for a long time. To be continued. Do you think what is gonna happen next? And thanks a lot for loving the story, for your thoughts, your feelings, your comments. I loved it that you are sharing a lot of your opinions, your support to me, and it make me feel good and also encourage me to do more. So yeah, I will be back again, and yeah, 3 more episodes left, so please enjoy this, and I will be back tomorrow. And I love you. Take care of yourself. Bye bye. Thanks a lot.